Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's that time again, back to do another About Last Nightmare. This is a series where me and my friend Nick, the Last Shoegazer, watch a movie that we have in our collection, separate but together. And we kind of message back and forth, sometimes giving fun facts on the film, sometimes ripping it apart. Last night it was pretty much a ripping session, and we had a lot of fun with it. Um, Now, we've done movies in the past like Deep in the Darkness, I think that was last week. We've done the Subspecies franchise, Vampire Journals, of course, House on Sorority Row. This week, I think we wanted to try something a little bit different. Yeah, that's to put it lightly. This week, we watched Vampire Hunters. Now, Nick and I both have a bit of a history with this film. I'll let him explain his, where he got the movie from, and how it ended up in his collection. But I will explain mine. This is a movie I turned on and started watching 3 or 4 years ago. Shut it off about 15 minutes into the film. Just wasn't feeling it. And I got rid of it. I sold it. So about a year ago, I was at a yard sale and they had this film there again. And I was like, you know what? I really should have given this more of a chance. I don't know if I was in a bad mood or if I was tired. I just wasn't in the mood for that type of film, because that happens sometimes too. Um, so I picked it up. And it's been basically in my basement for the better part of a year. And in talking to Nick, because we do talk a lot through Messenger, on the phone, so on and so forth, he asked me if I had this film. And I'll let him explain how he came upon the film. Um, I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, why don't we do that one week for something a little bit different? And different it is, let me tell you. um, so, Vampire Hunters is a 2003 film, which clocks in at about 90 minutes. Now, in doing some research on the IMDb, this actually has a alternate title called The Era of Vampires. Yeah, not sure why that wasn't used, or maybe that was used overseas. I'm not really sure. Now, the director of this film is Wellison Chin. He was like an actor. He was in like the Kung Fu Hustle, Project A2, and one that I've never seen called Mr. Vampire. The writer, of course, is the name that's pictured on the front here. Tsui Hark, I believe. I'm probably butchering it. If I do, I apologize. Now, he was the writer on this one. He also wrote the Once Upon a Time in China series, which is one of my favorites of all times as far as martial arts movies go. I saw that there was a fourth one that they did that I actually do not have and have not seen. I have 1 through 3, and they're, like I said, some of my favorite martial arts films. He also was a producer for Black Mask 1 and 2, which I have the second one. I just got that recently. But the first one I really liked. It was also a Jet Li film, because Jet Li was in the Once Upon a Time in China series. Now, this movie had a budget of $1 million, about $1 million, and it really looks it. The special effects in this movie were awesome. The visual effects were really awesome too, and the set design I thought was gorgeous. Nick and I were basically talking about that. The makeup effects, the set design, it was all, I mean, you could really see where they used the $1 million budget, in my opinion. Now, Vampire Hunters is basically, there's basically four main characters, and they're the vampire hunters, more or less. Um, First one is Hay, played by Ken Chung. Second one is Fat, played by Michael Mann Kim Choi. Kim Chow, I'm sorry. Kung, played by Swet Liam. Sorry again. I'm probably butchering these names anyway. I'm not really good at this as the Asian sort of names. And the last one is Choi, played by Kwok Kwan Chan. Nick is going to have a fun time trying to make sense of the story. To give you a bit of a synopsis, if he chooses to, it's a bit messy. It's a fun movie, but it's a bit messy. We both really enjoyed it for what it was, but in doing some research, I found out kind of why it's a little messy. There's two cuts of this film. The one that we have here is the international cut, or the US cut. There is a Singapore cut, which has 19 minutes of added footage. That is supposed to not only make more sense of the film, but give a little bit more of a fantasy look to it. There's supposed to be some green and blacks hues in the actual film itself. And, you know, basically, more or less, supposed to make the film make more sense. From what I could gather from what I read, this was kind of pieced together, the US cut. So, I'd really be interested in seeing the Singapore cut myself, because it was a little hard to follow in places. But this actually is and this would really surprise me, this is a remake of an old Hammer film and Shaw Brothers film called The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. So I thought that that was pretty cool. Like I said, I think to do this film a little bit more justice would have been to see the Singapore cut, and if anybody out there has it, or if there's a way I can see it somewhere, drop a link and let me know. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it, because this film was done very well, as far as the special effects go, as far as the makeup effects, the set design, and all that I've said before. But it just seemed quite messy when you're watching the US cut. So, but this is where I basically turn it over to Nick. Nick, good luck with this one. You're going to need it. Maybe a synopsis isn't the way to go with this one. So we'll see what he comes up with. Yeah, but definitely check out Nick, The Last Shoegazer, for About Last Nightmare Part 2 for the Vampire Hunters. And, yeah, if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time.